Hey guys, my name is Ryan45678, and in this video I'm going to show you my 1976 Honda MR175 Elsinore. So right off the bat, let me just say, in this video I'm going to be attempting to take off the cylinder. As you can see, it's already been taken apart. I'll get to that in a minute. Just so you don't think I'm rambling on about the bike, but since this is basically the first video I've made on it, I figured I would give you guys a little rundown of how this came to be. So a year or two ago, I don't remember at this point, me and my brother wanted a bike to work on, and my brother found a dirt bike. Specifically, we were looking for older bikes, and this is obviously 1976, and we found one for $500 and we bought it. It had pretty much everything except for like one side cover, and the seat was off, and the gas tank I think was off as well. So we bought it, or well, my brother bought it. So it was going to be his project, but I was going to help him, and I wasn't set up to do videos like I'm doing. So we don't have footage of that, but we basically tried to get spark. It wasn't sparking, it was getting voltage because I'd used a voltmeter, but it wasn't getting spark. So we took the flywheel off, we got the stator off, which is still outside on the bike, but it's covered, so don't worry. But if that needs to be replaced, I can buy a new one for like $70. It's kind of expensive, but yeah. So we decided to take the engine out. So we took the engine off the bike. It did get left outside a little bit, so that's the unfortunate thing. It wasn't that bad before. What we've got is a little bit of rust here, which we'll have to deal with when we get to that point. It shouldn't be that bad. Then we'll get this nut off. Long story short, the reason that we're going through it again is because when we got to the place to pick up the bike and buy it, we realized that, hey, this area flooded a couple years ago. Maybe that's why he's getting rid of it. And he never said that. We didn't ask, but we figured we went into it expecting that that's probably something that happened to that bike, because the guy said they'd had it for like 20 years. And he was, of course, saying like, oh, you might as well, if you're going to work on it, you might as well go through the engine anyway. Maybe he was hinting, it's like, hey, there's something wrong with it because it flooded here. But yeah, basically when we opened this cover, there was water in it. That's kind of what we expected. So the rest of it looks okay. I don't know what the inside of the engine looks like, because there was like mud water in here a little bit, and the cylinder the piston looks dirty, and I'm not sure what position it had been sitting in. So it's possible that the piston was keeping most of the water out, but actually no, that wouldn't happen because the water would seep through anyway. So either way, there's probably water down in there. The crankcase I think is fine because that's separate, and we drained the oil, and I want to say it was fine. So I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, that's basically the rundown on this thing, and that's where it's at right now. Oh yeah, the other thing was with the head bolts, one of them was stuck. So my brother ground it off, still couldn't get the thing off, so we welded a nut to it, and then finally were able to get it loose. Here's the head. Not much to say about that. That's pretty much the story on the bike. I'm going to go ahead and get into what I'm actually going to do with it. Oh yeah, the head bolt kind of messed this up. That's not that big of a deal, I don't think, because the rest of it is fine. So it did get left outside, like I said. There's a little bit of rust in the cylinder, and that's what I'm going to hopefully deal with today after I get the cylinder off. But hopefully you can see in there's the rust. I don't know, it got left out. It was under a tarp, but it was still raining and stuff, so it did get wet, and it's only been a month or so, and a couple times I went out there and put oil on that to keep the rust down a little bit. But another thing you will see in there is some metal shavings, and that's from grinding the head bolt off. Actually, I don't remember specifically why, but it was something to do with getting that head bolt off, and metal shavings ended up in there. So the first thing I'm going to do before I mess with it is take a magnet, because I believe most of the metal shavings are from the bolt, if not all of them. They should be steel, so they should be able to come out with a magnet, and that will save the cylinder from scoring, hopefully. So once I'm able to get this stuff out with a magnet, and well, I guess now would be a good time to put some penetrating fluid down in those holes, because we've tried hitting this thing before with a rubber mallet and it wouldn't budge. And there some of these models, not this one, this is the MR175, there are no bolts keeping this in. On some models there are, but this one there are not. These go to the crankcase. So I'm gonna go ahead. Interesting, this thing didn't come with a sprayer, but that's okay, I don't really need it. I'm just gonna, there we go. It's pretty straight stream regardless. So while we're messing with the rest of the thing, this stuff will get in there and hopefully set up and get this thing to move, because I have a feeling the rust is what's keeping it on, because it's pretty, see that one, it's orange, it shouldn't be that way. So let's get this magnet in there. Oh, of course, should have expected that. Okay, so yeah, we got some of the shavings. I'm gonna do this until I get most of them out, or I might have to get the shop vac out, and then I'll get back with you guys. All right, hopefully you can tell I got a lot of it out, but still there's quite a bit left. So I'm gonna take a shop vac to it and see what that does. All right, there we go. It's not perfect, but it got the majority of the big pieces out, and I would be okay taking the piston down. I wouldn't want to push it back up, but as soon as we get this cylinder off, then we can pretty much do that. Pretty much just take it off, clean it, and we'll be okay. We'll just have to make sure, try not to get shavings down in there. So these have been sitting for a little bit, not real long, but let me get some paper towels first and kind of clean up the dirt around here so nothing like that gets in there either. Alright, so that didn't work as planned. I got a little bit of the dirt off, but really it needs to be washed. So let's see if we can't knock this thing loose and get this jug off. This is probably just going to take some time and effort, because we've tried this before and no success. Maybe I'm hitting the wrong spot. So like here, I don't know. It's obviously just chunking pieces of my hammer off. Let's hit here. Maybe that's what it is. It needs to be a solid piece instead of a fin, because I don't want to break a fin either. It's not like I'm a fish. Okay. Let's see, the last thing I'm going to try before I turn the camera off so I don't bore you guys is I'm going to take this, see if I can't hit, actually no, because that's a fin too. What I don't want to do is take a screwdriver or something and pry it up, because I don't want to mess it up. Yeah, I'm going to give it some nice good whacks, and then whenever it starts to come loose, I'll turn the camera back on. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, because what I need is something to pop up, because doing this side to side is not helping. So I think if I give it some upward force, that'll help unstick the gasket or do whatever it needs. So I'm going to take a piece of wood, something like this, not this one, but then I'm going to hit it from the bottom and see if I can get it to unstick. This one should do if I can get a spot to hit it, but without it going flying, yeah, let's see, maybe here. Of course, the engine needs to not move either. So I think I'm doing a little bit, I'm not sure, but the thing that's been the best is taking a block of wood, flat against here, hitting it with this hammer, because you can see a little bit of seepage right there. I don't know if that's related, but it looks like it might be, because that gap I don't think was that big either before. So I'm going to keep hitting on this thing. Yeah, I just did it on this side, and it's starting to do the same thing. So, it's actually seeping, I think, from these. So that's good. That's good. That means it's actually doing something. But I forgot to mention before I told you about this side, I didn't do it without breaking a fin. So I had a thing under here. I think I hammered this way, and I just heard snap. It's still on there, but it's bent, and it's probably cracked, and I'm going to leave it alone. No more banging on the fins at all. But this, let me show you one really quick, because I just realized I hadn't actually done it yet on video. But like that seems to be helping. Oh, there we go. That's actually coming up. Yeah, look at that. That's gonna work. I'm gonna do that from the other side again. Alright, so after going back and forth a bunch of times, this thing is finally able to move a little bit. You might not be able to tell, but this thing wiggles a little bit. So now, what I can do is take and wiggle back and forth. So I'm going to do that. It's pretty good on that side. This side, a little bit. Not as much. But really all it was just hammer there, hammer there. I did a little bit of light hammering like this and like this. That may have helped on this side. There's not as much to do it on here, so I kind of tried like that. Didn't work so good. This worked a little bit. Maybe if I do it again. It was just hard to get it lined up exactly right because it's so much in the way. It'll come off today, I know it. And how do I know that? Well, because I have about 6 more hours left in the day to be able to do anything. So it's not totally free yet, but this side that I've been having trouble with is actually starting to open up. So as you can see, it's like, yeah, it's actually got some space. And what worked for that mainly was up in here, put in the wood up against the solid parts, not the fins, hammering on it. I even did some this way, and then a lot of this again, where put the wood block here and hammer this way, just to kind of get it some upward direction. So I'm gonna see if I can get this off now. If not, I'm gonna be disappointed, but not super disappointed because I've almost got it. It's starting to come off. I've been just kind of working it back and forth, like I said, between this and this on both sides, and it's got about looks like almost a 1/4 inch. I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off. It's pretty stuck on there. I'm gonna keep hammering. I'll show you some of what I've been doing. So I'm putting it either here or here, something like that, in a way that I can kind of hold onto the engine like this and keep it from moving so much, and then just still moves obviously, but trying to keep it as still as possible. Sometimes if you put your pinky here, it'll kind of give you some control, not full control obviously. Yeah, see, it's already coming up. I'm gonna do some on this side. You might not be able to see it too well, but I put it like that. I've already shown that, but anyway. Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely way closer. I'm seeing a lot of brown, so that's not a great sign, but I expected it, so yeah. Let's see if we can get this thing off. Okay, this one looks pretty bad. That's pretty rusted through actually. So the good thing though is I have these studs now and I know what they look like. So I can find something with the same threads on it if I need to replace them. So it's just this one that's stuck. It's funny enough, the rusted one is not the one that's causing any issues. It's this one that it's stuck on. But it's getting there. Alright, I think I'm close. What I did was I took the wood block here on this one that's stuck, brought it down a little bit because it wouldn't come down, and now look, it'll come up and down pretty good. I can just kind of work it. Yeah, work it. And that's about as far as it was before, so that's not much progress, but it's right direction. So I can drop it back down and then go, whoops, that hurt. And then I can go get it up almost to that same point. Alright, so quick update on very slow progress. What's been working for me is, like I said before, punching it down, and then once it's good and loose, like that, just kind of forcing it up. And if you remember where it was before, if I showed it, I don't know, but the piston was only showing about that much, now it's showing about that much, so it's slowly working. At some point I'll get it. It's getting further, it's more like an inch now. I'd like to be done soon because I know this is not good for the cylinder because there's still a few tiny little metal shavings in here. But there's not much I can do about it really. It's mud. Look at that. That's not rust, that's mud. Wow. I mean, I'm sure it caused some, but anyway. Feels like it's about to come off. I mean, I guess the mud was dry, but, it's really strange. This thing seriously feels like it wants to come right off. So I'm hoping the inside of this is full of mud and not water. Oh, the piston's about clear. Just needs a little bit more. While I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna put a rag there, or a paper towel, because what I don't want to happen is do all this work and then the piston falls and hurts itself. I'm just gonna, just in case, I'm gonna shove a rag in there to keep it from falling. Same thing on the other side, because I don't even think the piston's in the position it's at, that it's clear of the cylinder, or the base, whatever you call it. You know, since there's so much mud in here, I guess you could call this a true dirt bike. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Let's see if just kind of wiggling it side to side helps loosen it. I mean, I've been doing that for the past however long I've been working on this, but you never know, I might actually do it. Ooh, that's even further. It's even further. I can see the, well, that's not even the intake port, that's the, this opening, but on the other side. Just a couple more times and I think it'll go. Just hope I don't drop anything. Okay, that's a problem because one of the rings now is coming off. I could push the piston down, which I might do, because I'm not going to be able to push that back up in there yet. So either that or get it off now. I don't know what I can do. I can just wiggle it until it comes off. I don't know which way to turn it. Either way I turn it, it doesn't like it. So I should have done this sooner. So I went and broke that stupid fin because I was trying to pry on it again, and I forgot that that spot was busted. So we're down a fin. I don't know if I'll be able to put that back on. All right, I think I got it. You can see it's almost over the top. What worked pretty much was the same thing, just hitting this with a piece of wood with a hammer, and it seems like it's about to come off. If not, it's very, very close. Yeah, I think that may be where we're at. I may need another couple whacks, but it's almost out. The piston's out. good whack. Good solid hit. There we go. The freaking cylinder is off. Wow. Okay. We'll go clean this up. I don't know if I want to do that right now, but mainly I wanted that off so that I could check inside. And look, we have a piston. Yeah, it's like mud, flakes of mud. I'm gonna need to get something to get some of this stuff out with. We'll probably end up flushing this with oil or something. I don't really know, but yep, there it is. It's caked in mud. Hopefully not rust. Wow, the crankshaft actually looks pretty good. Man, I can't believe how long that took. We're gonna need to be very careful with this because this has metal shavings all in it. The rings don't look bad. They actually have a shape. Yeah, we're gonna need to take the piston out at some point. So I want it out, but I also want to get everything off of it, but I don't want to get it in the crankcase. So I'm just gonna wipe the top for now, just to get the most of it off. Yeah, that's like mud in there. You know, there's supposed to be a circlip in there, but I don't see one. I see one on this. Okay, yeah. Hopefully you can see that. There's one on this side. It's just kind of buried in the mud. There's probably one on the other side. There is a metal shaving here. Definitely want to get that out. Yeah, this is going to take some doing. But at least it's not rusty as far as I can tell. It looks like just oily mud, which is a good thing. Well, it's not a good thing. It's better than water. And really, there's not really any play in the crankshaft, so I think this thing is probably okay. And the play I'm getting is from the piston, like the wrist pin. Man, I really don't want to split the case because of the work required to do that. But at the same time, it almost needs to be split just to clean it out. Because I'm not really sure how I'm going to clean this out without missing something. Because there's all these metal flakes from taking that head bolt off. And they look like mud, and they're going to get stuck somewhere, and they're going to rub all up in it and destroy it somehow. So at least I think that's what these are from. I mean, I know there were things just like this in there, but that looks like a lot. But that is flakes from grinding and drilling and stuff. Yeah, the best thing to do would probably be to split it, but I don't know. I don't want to if I can help it. Honestly, if I'm putting this much work into it, I probably should, just because it would be a shame to go through all this trouble and get it running and then have it ruined by a freaking flake of metal. So I think what I need to do now is get a box so I can put parts in it, like for the piston and the wrist pin and all that, so I can keep them together and not on the floor or on the workbench. So yeah, we're gonna take the piston off, but ew, that's not good. It's like a gouge in the piston. But anyway, what I'm gonna do, at least I think what I'm gonna do it right now, or not right now, but as of this point, my plan is once I get the piston off to split the case. If I can get just this side off, that's great. I don't really want to mess with this one, and then I can get the crankshaft out. Get this out, clean it out, and I don't know. I'm hoping that it's that simple. It may not be. I may be opening up a can of worms. You know what? I think I do have to take the clutch off. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'll have to look at some videos and see what's feasible, and we'll go from there. But anyway, just take these rusty pliers that I just put some penetrating oil on. Go for that circlip if I can. Alright, so I just watched a tiny little video on how to remove these things, and a good looking suggestion, or the way he did it, was covered his thumb and use this to pry it open for the circlip. So I'm going to do that. And it actually came out. So, well, it's not quite out, but I don't want to scratch the piston either. There we go. I just kind of twisted a little bit. It doesn't look like it's in too bad a shape either. So, let's see. I will try to remember the front of the piston is the round end. The back is, the notch points to the back. If I can remember that, I'll be good and putting it back the same way. And I'll put the wrist pin in the piston just so so I don't have to worry about it. Yeah, in case you're wondering, I've never done this before. I've taken apart an engine that was blown up, basically, just because I was curious. But I've never actually done this to try to save an engine. I've never gone this far. So, let's see. Do the same kind of thing, but backwards. Move this out of the way. Okay, yeah, there's one in here. I just couldn't see it because it was knocked in there. Okay, and out it comes. Easier than the last one. And something else I forgot to mention before at the beginning of the video, the reason that I'm not concerned with the bottom end, i.e. the transmission, is this thing has 740 miles on it. It was putted around on in the green belt behind the people's house that owned it. That looks really good, actually. There's no rust, so I'm happy about that. I'm still definitely going to take this apart, mainly because of the metal shavings, but also because of the mud. This I don't know if this goes out a certain way. The pin, the wrist pin bearing, whatever you call it. But I'm going to be careful and get a punch or something, whatever this is. I don't know what it is, but it just happens to fit the size of the wrist pin, so I'm going to push it out. There we go. And just because I have this out, why is it not going further? There we go. Probably going to replace this. I don't know if I'll put a new piston, but I very well could. So, this doesn't even have a bearing in it. I would have thought this would have a bearing. But anyway, I'll put this in the same way. And then I'll put it in my box. And really, the piston doesn't look like it's in that bad a shape either. I mean, it's a little scored and it's got one little major scratch. I don't know why. And then again, too, I'm not too worried about the cylinder because it's basically brand new. It hasn't been used much, and it's smooth. If you touch it, it's smooth, despite the metal shavings. And those little okay, there's a little bit of. Oh, there's a giant scratch right there, so I take back everything I said. And I really hope that's not something I did, because I would be kicking myself if it is. It may be that I need to get this thing bored out, or just buy a new one. And I may do that since I cracked this. That might actually be the best option at this point. So, yeah, there's a massive gouge. Where is it? Right here. Yeah, that is bad. Yeah, so what I'm thinking right now is replace this thing. It's already bad enough with this thing getting messed up from the head bolt, the gouge, and everything. So I'm not going to mess with that anymore. My plan is to replace it now. So yeah, we're learning things as we go about this bike, and probably doing things. Honestly, that's probably what happened. Is there was probably a metal shaving in there, and I got it stuck and it gouged it. So whoops. I was really trying to get my brother to be careful whenever he was doing this, and cover the holes and stuff whenever he did whatever he did to get the head bolt off and ground it down. But there is a bearing. It's right here. Okay. So this probably needs to be replaced. But yeah, I was trying to get him to be careful, and that's what happened. So this came out. The back is this way now. So I'm going to see if I can put this in there. I don't know. No, because that's not how that works. This goes on the outside. Yeah, that's nasty. I don't think I'm going to be reusing that bearing, but I will put it here just so it doesn't get lost. I mean, it might be okay, but I'd rather not chance it, you know. There is some play. I don't know if it's too much. I don't really know how much is too much. But I'm gonna not turn this as much as I can while it's in this condition with metal shavings and mud. All right, so now that's gonna be it for today, because I mean, I could keep working on it, but I've got stuff I need to do, and I don't want to make the video too long. And what always happens is I start working on something, and I work on it till the last possible minute that I can, and then I end up rushing for my other stuff, and it's not a good idea. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it for now. Hopefully you all found this enjoyable / interesting / helpful. Leave a like if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more projects and more videos on the Elsinore. And as always, if you want to support the channel, there are affiliate links in the description below, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.